Jeez. Probably wait for those of you to sign on here. Good day. Ambetu ashte. Ambetu ashte. Good day. Good day. And as I kind of like to start out. I found out a long time ago they never used to say good morning or they used to say Dayawa Chiaka. It's almost like it's like really good to see you kind of thing. Dayawa Chiaka. That was how I heard one say that. Imagine some would say good morning, but you never know. Might be not a good morning for some, might be some good for others. But anyway, but they'd always say that. There's always a joy to see each other, a joy to see each other early in the morning. And so, anyway, how many we got people signing in yet now? How quick does that happen? Yeah, 5 minutes or so. Yeah, yeah, we're all filing in here. Pretty good. Um, Holy smokes. Gonna hurt myself there. Yeah. So today, when I share these Dakota words, it also I have found that the best way for me to learn the language is when I put it into my heart emotions, in my emotions, and so emotionally learn the language. Don't just sit there and memorize words. You do your best to feel. So to feel, got people coming in here. Awesome. Uh, um, so to have that good feeling, and so you feel the language and not just think about it, because that's how you're. So even when we practice some of the words. So you'll notice a lot of times I'll repeat it over and over. Then you see me pacing around here. You see me go pace around and go have a bite of a donut, walk off camera. That's your time. During that time, that's your time to be saying that word to over and over, almost like you're planning to be in like a movie or like a movie script, and you're gonna plan to maybe this scenario of talking to your nephew, your son, your daughter, or whoever, and practice as if you're gonna say that in like a movie script. I was watching a video with Graham Greene, and he said, I think they can learn their language. He said, "Hey, people, I had to learn Lakota." He said, so I don't know if he actually learned the language. Maybe he did, um, but yeah. So the words that I want to share are also emotional to me because they give a lot of meaning to our way of life, our culture. It's not just about speaking the language. It's about see. I read a book one time and it had some of our history of our elders, and they called it "Looking Through Dakota Eyes." And so you can get that book, and they tell their stories on there of like of the past. So that word there, cuz, is Wayaka. I made a mistake here, and it looked like a G, so you could just ignore that. I just put a Y in there. I was gonna explain it, but the word is Wayaka or Wayake, Wayaka or Wayake. And keep in mind out there, I'm always gonna make these reminders, these little tidbits of information on the side here. That this is a writing that I practice, but this is how I learned. I learned through these the dictionary right here. Right in the beginning, they'll give you how to say them, how to. So I write within this with this style, but uh, our elders and everybody's talking. There's no right way because we didn't really have that much of a writing. But actually, we did have a form of writing, and I was talking to some of the relatives. That's why I like to move home because we talk about these things, and we did have some form of cryptography type writing, and it helped us. We write them on birch bark, on birch bark, and it used to help with songs and stuff. That's an ancient form of kind of like Dakota writing, and so we did have a form, but I don't even know enough to talk about that yet. I'd be just making it up, and if I said anything, but I just learned about that recently. So something to consider. Um, so the reason why I wanted to put this word up here, wayaka, is because there's a teaching with Dakota. What they had is wherever your eyes go, like you go into town and you get two different people. Maybe somebody's feeling real grouchy and they're just thinking, oh man, nobody loves me. They're feeling chania. Nobody loves me. And so you go into Brandon, you go into Brandon, and then the other person, maybe they just had a baby and they're feeling that wopi da. They're feeling, so you got one person, he's thinking chania, and then another man, he's thinking wopida. He's thinking thankful because, man, I just had a baby. So you just had maybe two different people with two different emotions. The man that's in wopida, he's going to see babies all over town that day. Oh, the new dads. I see brand new babies all day today. That's all I saw. And then the other man who's chania, maybe because nobody loves me, he's going to see people walking alone. He's going to see sad people where it's whatever you believe, you'll see it. And so whatever you look at. And so this word here is we use it to see something. And you'll wamaka, to I see, to see me, wayaka, to see. Sometimes you'd say wayaka, look, or look it. I heard that one a lot growing up. And even as well, there's a story of the moon where she covers half her face, but there's a deeper story into that. And so there's a teaching. Wherever your eyes go, that's what's going to grow. So my eyes have been on this a lot. I even keep it on my dashboard to remind me to, hey, get back to language. You go home and start watching hockey and everything else. That's good, but get back to the language, get back to the language, get back to the language. Because if I don't see it, then it's not going to grow for me. So I have to see these things, So here we go. So we'll start with these words. I see, or to see, I see, you all see, you and I see, we see. We'll all do all of them. We'll all do all these. So this word, right, I'll just rewrite it here just because I don't want to confuse anybody. Somebody's going to be signing in here and say, what is that? He's not written up there. Yeah. Ga. Ga sound on that one. Wayaka. Ga. And then so, you can even go through the sounds a little bit. We have that nasal again here. For those of you that might be just signing in, this is your first class. You can go back to the other classes and you'll learn the pronunciation and how to make these certain sounds on here. And so for myself personally here, when I draw this little looks like the little N with a nose, I have another relative. He was talking about how he does a little line on here where that changes the sound of it. But this is just the way I've learned over the years. And so, again, this is just my way to demonstrate. But however you want to write it, there's no rules. However it makes sense to you, you can do it that way. So this N here is make sure your nose vibrates. You can hum and practice to make your nose vibrate, and then you just add and the A here will make it vibrating. I remember I went to the casino one time. And I saw an elder, he kept saying that, wah, wah, and he kept winning, wah, wah. I was like, oh. In other words, look, he kept saying, wah. That's kind of like a shortened version. You'd hear some of the grandpa, wah. They'd say like that when you'd see something, hey, wah, wah. But this word here, wah, also has another meaning in there. If you want, for those of you who are learning and understanding the language, wah also means like or chanupa wan, a pipe, hokshida wan, a specific, wan. So, but this word has roots here as well in wan ji, for one, right? Wan ji. So you'll notice those similarities like that with this word wan. But it's usually to direct your attention to one specific place. One. You know, it's designed to take your attention away from all around you to one specific little place right there. That's where that one comes in. And then we'd have that one ya. So you're going about that, and then ka, something is gonna have an impact on you. Whatever you're looking at, it has an impact on you. Whatever you're looking at, if you look at good things, it'll have an impact on you. If you look at inspiring people, they'll impact you. Whatever you see, it has an impact on you in some way. So this word is real deep, real deep. And so let's conjugate. Hey. You're gonna hear this word sometimes. If I'm doing something specific, badu jaja, washing myself, for example, you'll hear that word badu. Badu. It's an act of kind of like doing something. You're doing it, and I'm doing an action. It's often to myself, like badu jaja, I'm washing myself. Badu ashte, I make myself good, you know. So that's where we'll put that. And by the way, again, this is past tense. Wayaka, something I saw. Wayake, I see. I see. You know, it's kind of more present when you have that ah versus eh. So we're going to talk more in the present. Wambada. Okay, there's that word bada. I'm doing it. Sometimes you hear badu, bada. Badu, bada is different. I'll have to talk to Elder on how that changes. Well, that's a good question. Badu, what's the difference between badu and bada? It's going to change. Sometimes it changes. Wambadaka. Wambadaka. I see. Hey, Wambadaka, I see that. Randall, Wambadaka. I see Randall. Randall, Wambadaka. I see Randall. Wambadaka. Wambadake. Wambadake. Or I should have said I saw Randall. Wambadaka. Wambadake. Randall. Wambadake. I see Randall. Well, and I pause in here not because I'm trying to give you guys space, because you guys have to hear it in your head. So after that's it, Wambadake. Now's your chance to start practicing, because people are saying, I'm not speaking. What, practice in your head that you're saying that to somebody. Hey, Wambadake, I see that. I see that. Wambadake, I see that. Wambadake, I see. Wambadake, I see. Wambadakashni, I cannot see. Wambadakashni, I cannot see. I see. Wambadake. Wambadake. Ke. Wambadake. 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 Imagine you're standing there with somebody, and then imagine that's what you're saying. It's Tahashi Wambadake. I see Tahashi, you know. Or say it in English. Car Wambadake. I see a car. You don't have that. You can put an English word of whatever you're seeing right here. Whatever word you want to use. Put a word of something that you see it, right? Shunka Wambadake. I see a dog. This is a very, very easy word to learn. This is what you'd say to kids. What do you see? I see a dog. How many dogs do you see? I see 2 dogs, like that. That's going to come in handy with that later on. So a good one to practice. Wambadake. Wambadake. All right. So this one here in this term is da. This is in the form of you. This is the you version of you see. So I'll show you, I'll give an example. Wa da ge. So I could even tell Randall right now. Randall, marker ginde wandake. You see a marker. Wandake. Wandake. Which one? Oh, this is for you. I won't even write English. Da. It's like so. Wandake. See you do. See you do. See I do. Wambadake. See I. That's really. You should actually learn how to say it like that in your mind. Because it makes sense, more sense. You start talking like Yoda off of Star Wars. It's cool. Everything makes sense. See, I do. You have to get used to talking like that. It sounds weird in English, but then you'll realize how weird it is in English. How actually English is more complicated, more weird. Yeah, well, English is one of the few languages that's actually backwards. Italian, a lot of other languages are this way because it's more easy. It's more easier to explain. See, I do. Instead of I see, there's more details to it. There's more I don't know, it's harder to explain. English there's so many extra words there that don't even need to be there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Tired me. Let's it's easy enough. I get it. I am tired right now, or whatever. All that extra is not necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary. So Dakota, they're trying to simplify it. And so this is a good topic for language learners. If you're learning, you realize we try to complex things up with our English mind, with our German English talking mind. Because remember, German is English, Ingla. And so we're trying to think of Dakota language in Ingla terms and like ideology, methods. And so, but if you realize how simple it is, I would even say this word "want" might be like behold, behold, because it's taking you to one specific place. Want, da, you, que. You see it, right? It hits you, or like it's something it's. This might be a word for shock or electricity or life, right? Que, ka, boom, you hear noise, ka, kiss. That's getting real deep with the language. Yeah. But I think for some of us out there, that's what we're looking for, right? Let's really talk about it and how it's built, and instead of learning 50 words, you know, and not really fully getting all of them. So sometimes it's nice to slow things down and let's really try as a group to get it together. Yeah. But it's always nice because Dakota, how we are, we see patterns. We see patterns. And so now we're going to add Randall. He sees. So we'll do got to add him in there. Wanda. So I'm talking about you. You see. This one's going to be ka because you never put a ke, b at the end. And it's always going to switch to the original ka. And then so this one goes b. So in other words, you plus you and plus plus, you guys see it. You and everyone else, you all see that. Wandakapi. You and all see. Wandakapi. Kind of a KG here. Ga. Not wandakapi. Wandakapi. And then notice the language. The Meadowlark song. Wandakapi. 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 You all see. De Wandakapi. You all see this. De Wandakapi. Like whatever you're talking about. This. He Wandaka. He Wandakapi. You all see that. He Wandakapi. You can put a question. He Wandakapi. Huh? Do you guys all see that? So when you go out UFO hunting, we'll say that lots. Hey, Wandakapi, huh? Hey, Wandakapi, huh? Hey, oh, the questions sound different too again. It always has that little at the end of a question. All these details I used to study our grandpas, listen to them so intensely, how they talk, our grandpas, and just wonder, it's like, man, our language, why is our language so beautiful? It turns out it's a bird song. That makes a lot of sense. Or if I could say, what are you guys looking at? Daku wadakapi. Daku wadakapi. Like that. See what you can do to these sentences with the other words we learned? Dokia, tue. Who are you looking at? Who are you? Tue wadakapi. Who are you all looking at? You know, run something real simple like that. Now we're going into, just because we learned those basics, tue, dokia. Now you're into sentence building real quick. It doesn't take you long to get there. That's why I said 6 months. We'll get you there. 6 months. Let's give 6 months. As long as we stay positive, we'll always want to be here. Keep the good vibes going, you know. Chante washte. They say have a good heart. All right, next one. Makes sense. Remember the us one? Ooh. That's gonna come in. So just remember that sound. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's us. Ooh, ooh. Make sure your nose vibrates. Wow, yeah. Okay, wow. Wow, ooh. Try not to say wow, ooh. Wow, ooh. Yeah, okay. You and I see. Wow, ooh, yeah, okay. Wow, ooh, yeah, okay. Wow, ooh, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go. What's that? Wow, ooh. Yeah. Okay. I always broke them down with my hand. Wah. And practice that. Wah 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 wah. Practice that. Wah 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 wah. Repetitive. 50 times. Wah. Yake. 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 Speed it up later on. Yake. Yake. Sometimes you mess up when you say it though. You get tripped up. Stop, take a break, go for a little walk, and then go back to it. Yake. You and I. You and I see. You and I are the only ones that see this. Hey. Yake. Yake. Because we're such geniuses. Just kidding, man. I was asking, how do you say it? I'm deadly. Temachike. Something say, temachike, I'm just deadly. Tenichike, you're just deadly. Tenichike. Same principle here. We're gonna talk about only ake, but we're gonna only aka be. Then all you guys, us and everybody, right? Ooh, yeah. This changes from to ka, and then we'll add the other two or three or thousand or the B part. B, the B part. PB on that one. Because we're not saying wa ya ka pi. It's wa ya ka pi. Wa ya ka pi. Wa ya ka pi. Wa ya ka pi. Oh, sorry, I'm messing it up. Wa ya ka pi. I messed myself up. Sorry. Hey, he makes mistakes. Oh my gosh. Ya copy. Yeah. Hey, I don't see your nose moving that much. Ya copy. Ya copy. Keep in mind, that's why our grandpas used to talk about that. When you make an outfit or when you do, always put a mistake in there. They put an accident in there. Don't make sure it's not perfect. Because if you do that, then you'll set a standard for your nation where that's not allowed. Not allowed to make those. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed. Yeah, everything has to be 100% flawless. Even with Shichu culture, 100% has to be 100. If it's 99, oh gosh, if only you could have got that 100%. Jeez, it's a different mentality Dakota culture has, because they understand emotion. That's why they're real in touch with their feelings long ago. Ehana, long ago. So ya copy. Ya copy.
So what is translation for that for the people that are listening?
Yeah, I'll share again. Ya copy. And then now you guys are included, right? Because remember, this means two or three more, or two or more, or 1,000 more, or three or more, rather. Sorry. Like more people. There's a few of them. Like wachipi. Remember? Wachi is one. Wachi, like one person dancing. Wachi, you see one guy dancing. See two of them dancing. Wachipi. Wachipi. Or two or 1,000. A million. Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have those questions like that, you could just speak up like that. But remember, all those, we talked about that. You could go back to the old videos. Remember, review as much as you can. As much as you can. Go over and over and over and over. Ya copy. Those of you there, there's somebody at home that are saying that out loud, real loud. Ya copy. That's what I say. Walk around. Ya copy. Ya copy. Ya copy. Ya copy. Ya copy. Over and over and over. Okay. We see. It's like we and everyone else. We and all. Ya copy. Ya copy. Wayaka or Wayake. Is this one person? Wayakapi. Whole bunch of them, they see it now. Whole bunch of them. Imagine a group of people really looking at something. Wayaka. Pi. Wayaka. Pi. Wayakapi. 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 One. Ya. Kapi. Wayakapi. 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 This is a real important word for those of you that are going into practicing your culture, getting back into Dakota teachings, and you'll hear a lot of the songs Wamayaka, Wamayaka po, or you'll see a man stand up, Mitaka pi Wamayaka po. He'll say that. Look at me, look at me. That's really what you're saying on there. So our rule for that ma was, for me in this situation, that ma for me, wamayaka, wamayaka. So this is you're talking about somebody looking at you. Wama ya ke. In the present moment, wamayaka. Looked at me. Wamayake. Looking at me right now. Wamayake. So if Randall's just staring at me, I was like, nah, okay, Randall. Chazea wamayake. Angrily looking at me. Okay. Just kidding. Just wa ma yake. So sometimes you'd hear prayers. Wamaya, it'll turn to wamayaka. And then for ladies, they'll say yeah. So even your kids, you want them to look at you. Wamayaka yeah, wamayaka yeah. Look at me, look at me. Or men would say, wamayaka wo, wamayaka wo. Look at me. But if you're talking to more than one person, for the ladies, wamayaka yeah, wamayaka yeah. You're telling them, look at me, look at me. Wamayaka. And then a man would say, Wamayaka po. Po. Yeah. Wamayaka po. There's another one you can say, po. Po. That's fog. Like, if you put a little harder P on there, po. That turns to fog. I made that mistake one time. Not so hard on that. Po. You're saying fog at the end. I said, oh, okay. And so, if you're talking to two people, Wamayaka po. Wamayaka po. Look at me. Look at me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you have an epiphany?
No, did you say a swear word?
No.
What was that word from?
Fog. Fog. I would never swear in here. She's asking. You guys can't hear what she's asking. Did you say swear word? She said, no, fog.
Fog.
Like when there's misty fog outside.
Oh, fog.
She didn't know the English fog. What's that? Taco ka fog. It's like a mist that goes all over the land at nighttime.
Early morning.
Early mornings, you see it, and it floats around. Fog. Po. Yeah. Po. Yeah. Wamayaka. Wamayaka. Look at me. Look at me. Or looked at me, looking at me. Wamayake. Randall Wamayake. Randall is looking at me. Yeah. And then, so when we had these little rules, when it's ma for like my being, now we're gonna go to ni, and so you could just switch that over to ni. Waniyake, waniyake. That's you now. Waniyake, waniyake, waniyake. I never heard that too often. You don't hear that. I don't hear the language too much. So some of these sound really new to me when I hear them. And that's why I say I want to be around more language speakers. Hear it all the time.
They saw you.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, they saw you. Isn't that like a past?
uh, for okay, yeah. I'll just make this simple here. So they see you. One, ni, ya. Okay. So ma is me, ni is you. Ma is me, ni is you. Wa ma yake, they see wa ni yake, they see you. That's why when we go to Walmart, they say, hey, due wa somebody's looking at wa ni yake. That's when you go hiding behind the thing. Like, hey, I don't want to see him. Act like you don't see him. Wa ni yake. Wa ni yake. Or he or she, or one, like they see you, or that person sees you. Duewa, a person, like somebody. So Randall's looking at you. Randall waniake. He sees you. He sees you. Waniake. Waniake. Now, again, so now that's like, I made a mistake there. I use that word they. Sometimes when you say, oh, they see you, sometimes it's that one person, but they is, let's do the they now. This is the they one here on this one. Wa, ni, ya. So this is the they see you, or this is the they part. Ka, pi. Wa ni ya kapi. Wa ni ya kapi. Wa ni ya kapi.
What is that Juanita? They saw you,
Yeah.
and then the
Behold you, they did. Saw you, they. This is the they part right here. Yeah. You could put that on your notes. Be sometime at the end means they. If that helps you to figure out the English version of that, that would help. If that helps, if put a little note. If be is on the end of something, it means they, right? It can translate into that. Like if you want to see it like that. Waniya kapi. See you. We went about them. See you, they went about them. Those ones. So, like to see you, they went about doing it. Those ones. This one? There's only one now. Yeah, there's only one. Yeah. So I used to do it like this if it helps. You could do it like this. Draw a little person. That's one person. Or that's 2 times 1,000 or whatever, you know. You could do it like that. But yeah, so this just identifies the amount of people. Is it one person or two? Is there a P or a no P? Does that make sense? It takes some time to cram your mind, especially y'all if you just learn here and go home and not learn practice at home. That makes it even harder because every time you're going to come here, it's going to be okay. Now I got to cram my brain only for those 6 hours, but then I go home and I don't do anything with it. So the hard part is going home and practicing, solidifying your mind, just going in there. Like I said, take one of these that we've done and just focus on those ones. Okay, this afternoon, I'm still going to go clean. I'm still going to go do my stuff. I'm still going to drive people wherever they need to drive to, but I'm going to practice this set. This set, I'm going to work on this set right now. And then next, I'm going to try the next one like that. But if you're only practicing here, like during class, then it's going to be real slow. Real slow. So it takes time. But that's what I was talking about. Dakota, this can take time out of your life, so it's a big sacrifice. How many of us have that? How many of us have that? So how can we incorporate this into our daily living? Half the time we can't, but we can practice. Like a lot of time I'll go for a walk and I'll just practice. Do dishes. Iwabadaka. Wamayaka. Wamayaka. Doing dishes. Wamayaka, everybody, I'm doing dishes. However, you can incorporate it to get your vocabulary muscles being used. And so we've had situations that we've had wonderful classes like this long time, lots. But I'd ask those people, "Do you guys remember?" No, no. "Oh, how come you didn't remember?" Because I only practiced it when we had class. That's the only time I did it. But when I went home, I had my takojas. I was busy with this. Yeah, I had no time. So I was like, oh, okay. So we also have to strategize on how to keep it going throughout. Yeah, yeah. And so what you do right here is if this is the one part that you're struggling on right here, let's stop here and focus on this. If we're struggling, what does P mean and no P at the end? What's the difference there? If this is the part where you get struggled on, that's the part you focus on. Try not to keep moving forward, moving forward, right? Go back, stop, practice that one part, then move forward. Then move forward. So this stuff is just okay. We're on it like that. Yeah.
I don't exactly do it like this way,
Yeah.
but I take the word
Hmm.
and I'll look up in my dictionary,
Yeah.
see what it means, and then I'll try and make sentences.
Right. And that's the cool part. So yeah, with the sentence building, that's where it starts to make more sense. Right now, we'll get into the habit, the patterns, because if like I said, Dakota, how our minds work is we see patterns, right? Something keeps happening. I notice something keeps happening. So if we keep repetition, 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 repetition. Once I look at everybody, I like that you guys are here because you're my gauge. Sometimes I see you guys like, that's a chance for me to know. Let's slow down here and figure out what exactly is going on. And so, because I can't, those of you that at home, we can't do that. I don't. They're not. They're well. You could pause it later on, go back to it. But I'm real thankful that we could have. We could have the conversations in here where we can slow that down and talk about these. And so we might even have to sit there, okay, if we don't understand the P yet, so that's what we're going to talk about, this word P. And then we're just going to focus on this word P now. But simplify it, go with what you know. Where do we hear this? At the powwow. Wachipi. We've been hearing it our whole life. Okay, now imagine you go to a powwow. Let's make a story out of this. We're going to go to the Wachi. We're going to go, so now we'll see one guy just standing there dancing. Because it's only the Wachi now. It's not the Wachipi anymore. So if we started calling the powwow Wachi, we're going to the Wachi, imagine you're only going to see one person dancing. But they don't call it Wachi, Wachipi. So now let's just, okay, that means there's going to be a few or more. So what I'm saying here is if these parts right here, and some of us are quick at it, we're going to get it, we're going to, boom, it's going to make sense. But for some, it's going to be a little slower. But let's not, buffalo herds run together, hey? So if one person is saying, hey, slow down here, let's help me figure this out, we'll all do it together. And not just say, okay, well, you pick up, follow us later on, you'll catch up. You know? Let's do it all together. So is that clear what B is, what it does? Yeah. Yeah. By the way, there's something spiritual behind that. You have a bump on the back of your tooth, a fang tooth. That's only indigenous to native people. A lot of cultures, they don't have that. Yeah. Your fangs. So there's a bump in the back of our tooth, but it roots us back to the buffalo. Yeah. Genetically. Genetically, we're more connected to the buffalo. So, oh, you probably grind them down. Most of us grind them down, yeah. Because if we grind our teeth at night, chances are you grind your teeth, ground them down. They call them canines, though, hey? So they're called the canines. They're sharp, yeah, yeah. But behind there, you'll have a bump. Uh, this is a really, and this is the reason why I brought up this topic here. This word, remember last time I talked about anytime you hear this word chi it's almost like a connection, like ochichi. Remember we did that? I help you. Like if sometimes if we use the word kchi means together, kchi, kchi, kichi comes from that word kichi, or kshi is together. So you'll notice this word chi, whenever it's like that, it means you'll see in a level of intimacy. I see you. I see you. It's a very important word, especially, and so some of you that are working with the children in the daycare, I see you. It's so important to say that. How many of our kids don't get seen, right? So So this word here, right here, chi, is really, really important because it kind of gives that intimacy, that connection that we have with one another. So the same principle, yeah, que. Remember how this one just says it goes or it goes that way, ya que, wa chi ya que, wa chi ya que, wa chi ya que. I see you, wa chi ya que, wa Wa, wa, chi, ya, ke. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Very romantic thing to say to your partner, too. Wa, chi, ya, ke. I see you. Because sometimes in relationships there's disconnection. Sometimes we don't see each other. It's so important to see each other. And actually, if you really, really want to hurt people in your community, ignore them. That's a good way to hurt your community. Ignore them when you see them. Ignore them. And it'll bring their power down. But if you want to build somebody up, see them. That's why I really love coming home to Sioux Valley. We wave. I didn't even know who that was. Hey, hey. Walk down the road. Who's that? I don't know, but he saw me. I saw him. We saw each other. We acknowledged each other. Wachi, wachiake. I see you. It's so important. That's why at Dakota we try not to ignore each other. We try not to. When your kids are talking to you, I actually learned this. I was sitting around a group. There was a bunch of elders, and there was like an older medicine man. He was sitting there. Little kid. I was so used to Sioux Valley. When we grew up in Sioux Valley, little kid comes. Get out of here. Go on. Go outside. Go on. Go outside. Go play. Real strict. Real mean. You just put your head down. I thought there was a little kid that came up from outside, and he came up to the table. And I thought that's what they were going to say there. Get out of here. Hear that, man. He gave that little kid a hug and said, are you having fun? Yeah. Oh, stedo. Yeah. Oh, you have fun. Go play. He saw him. I see you. You can heal a community just by doing that. With a child, like I see you, I acknowledge you. So even when I see little kids driving around the road, I just make sure you wave to them. Make sure you see them. Acknowledge them. That's why I wanted to bring this topic up. Because so many of you out there, relatives are ignored. And that's not good. Shouldn't be ignored. You should be acknowledged. That's why we get chania when we're not seen. We get chania, when nobody sees me, when I'm being ignored. So maybe we can look at the word to hear me next. Nachu, nawachu, namachu. We'll talk about that one next even, maybe. That'll be a good one. Wa, wa, chi. So break it down. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Break down the different sounds. Wa, chi, ya, ke. 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 And then that little song, little bird, sing it. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Just speak like a lovebird. Wa, chi, ya, ke. Remember this one part we had earlier where da in this situation is going to mean me. Da. So we're going to keep that in mind. Da in this situation is going to be myself or me. So that's why I was saying, yes, we will learn patterns, but you'll notice those patterns change sometimes. So there's ma, wa, and da for all pertaining to myself. There's different ways to say myself. Wa, ma, and da. Wait, wait. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Sorry. Made a mistake on that one. Okay. Scratch that. Put a note on there. Jay said something wrong. I read a whole one. Different. Oh my God. Wa ma ya. This is the one you see me. Wa ma ya da ke. This is a D here. This marker's kind of getting rough. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. You see me. Wa ma ya da ke. You see me. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. Really appreciate hearing you, cuz those of you that are here to learn it, when you guys are saying it out loud, that's how you're gonna get it. So don't be afraid. Wamaya dake, because you're actually muscle memory, hey? So sometimes it'll be in here, but when you say it, wamaya dake, when you actually say it out loud, then the memory goes to the muscles next. Yeah. So I really appreciate hearing you say it as time. But that's why I'll say it real slow with you guys. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke.
It's easier to spell it like in little sections.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I keep saying. Yeah.
Same here.
That's how I've done that all the time. Wa ma ya da ke. Wa ma ya da ke. If we don't say it out loud, you're going to say, I understand our language, but I can't speak it. That's the one thing you want to get out of that. Wa ma ya da ke. And I know that's probably why a lot of you guys must stay at home. I'm not going to go over there and say that over there. Stay at home instead. And our elder talked about that. That's what's stopping us, right? So you're fighting that by that's worrying up. You're saying it out loud. That's imagine, cuz tell us about a story about the soap. Imagine every time you talk Dakota, that soap is washing out. Look at it that way. You're cleaning your mouth out with Dakota. That's a spiritual way to see it. That's really powerful. The more you say it, you're washing your mouth out with your own culture, and all that soap is blah, getting out of you. Hey, powerful. The mind is powerful. But how many of us, if you think about it, have soap in our mouths still? That's a good philosophy. Get that soap out of your mouth. Get that soap out of your mouth and get talking. Get it out loud. Get it out there. Eh? Wamaya dake. We're in Sioux Valley tonight. I'm driving around. Hopefully you can hear people all over the community tonight. Wamaya dake. Wamaya dake. Like, get it out. Get it out. Get that language out of you. Yeah. 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 And if you want to do it in English, train yourself. Train yourself like that. You see me. You see me. Train yourself. You see me. Say it in English over and over. You see me. Now let's Dakotanize it. Eh. Wamaya dake. 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 Cool. Whew, we got through that one. That one was a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed. Yeah. We should have a little thing in there when Jace messes up on the YouTube video. But that's one of the things that we were talking about with the elders. It's good that you're up there when you make mistakes and stuff like that, because you could show our people it's all right to make those. Like those are happy accidents because you're learning. You messing up, and then you fix it. Yeah, you mess up and then you fix it, and that's the only way. Actually, I always remember the words that I remember were the ones I messed up on. Those I really remember those ones. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna go home and work on that times 10. That one, specifically that one. Yeah. Uh, oh, I don't want to waste. All right, new one, new paper. Even if where you struggle in your books, take one page like that. Write this on the top, and then draw people. And then just somehow to get it inside your brain, this means more than two people. Just really give yourself time for it, because you got to absorb this stuff. Hey, we can't just expect you to not. You got to absorb it into your bones, into your emotions, into your feelings. What this word means. Um, che kia pi doan pi, right? All the different ways to use that. Che pi, crying. Sometimes I'm gonna teach those of you that are looking after the kids. Sometimes they'd say that they're crying. Che pi, not che pi. They're crying. Che pi, che pi. So or like you can practice all different kind of words where you can use that word be. And so once it absorbs in, that'll be cho. How many we got watching out there in the audience? 16. Gee, that's a magic number, hey? 16 solid Dakota warriors here to change our culture, bring everything back. We really have to build ourselves up like that. We can't just say, I'm here to learn my language. No, I'm here to save my culture. That's build yourself up like that, because you're doing more than that. You're not just learning your language. I was watching a video too about Southern Creole, the French down there, and how they're losing their language, and they're just saying. And then so this a guy learned their language, and he went down there and he started talking. Geez, they all started crying. I've not heard that, and the words you were using, you remind me of my grandpa. Geez, it'll be sad. So, but we're not focused on that. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm here to bring it back. I'm here to do that. So, let's use a strong. So you got to stay strong, hey. So let's learn that one. Okay, I messed up this word when I first started learning the language, so I'm gonna really talk about it. Wash, wash. Get used to saying that part there. But the word that we're gonna be talking about is wash ake. But remember how you say it is get used to saying this first. Wash, 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 wash. So this is the word for strong. Your temptation is going to want to say ake. Wash ake. Wash ake. Wash ake. Yeah. Yeah. Wash ake. Strong. It's the name of my son, Washaka. But a lot of times people say, Josh, they keep calling me Washaka. It sounds African. He gets mad. And I was like, well, that's a good name. I bet you if you look in African culture, Washaka must mean something cool. Yeah. But yeah, Wash Ake. He gave up on it. Sometimes his friends just call him strong. Yeah. Hey, you're strong. But Wash Ake. So that takes practice. But remember, when I do this here, that means there's a little pause in there, right? You got to say this with some emphasis. Yeah, Wash Ake. Wash Ake. And so, I don't know. Yeah. So this, yeah, that's what this means. Like this guy has to be deadly. You got to say it first. Wicked, cho, wash, ake, wash ake, wash ake, not wash ake, not at all. Wash ake, wash ake, wash ake, wash ake. You guys believe in affirmations? If you look in the mirror and you say negative things about yourself, that's the life you're going. Nobody loves me. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. All those things. I hate my life. If you say these things, it actually brings your energy down. So if you learned this word and if you said this over and over and over, now we're going to use this here. Ma. Got it, yeah. Wa. Ma. Ake. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. So instead of wash, wamash is the big word you got to use for wamash. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. Oh, that word you should use it 1,000 times. Nobody's going to be able to build you up in your life but you, Randall. Yeah, you're scaring me. You scare my. You scare my. Scaring me. Startling me. I learned that from Uncle Kenny Pratt. We were at Birdtail like that, and there was a dog underneath the car. What? Oh, you scared my. He said, startled me or scared me. Kind of scared me. I learned little words all over. Uncle Kenny really helped me with a lot. If you're ever listening out there, Uncle Kenny, and come visit you, man. All those old songs, man, taught me a whole bunch. That's how I learned the language, actually, through song. That's another way, through song. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. Ke. Wamash ake. Ke. Wamash ake. And there's no N here, so we're not saying wamash, or it's wa. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. Wamash ake. I am strong. This is what you need to say to your grandchildren every time they wake up in the morning. You are strong. Wanish ake. Wanish ake. Dekiksuya. Remember this. Wanish ake. Wanish ake. Yeah, remember. Yeah, remember. The ma is me, the ni is you, the u is us. Yeah, but I'm not. You're. It's almost like I'm talking about your being. If it was ya, then that'll be your doing. But ni is like your who you are, or like you, ni, ma, ni, un. Wanish ake, wanish ake. So this pause here, don't forget it. Wanish ake, ake, wanish ake, wanish ake. You are strong. You are strong. Wanish ake. If you tell this to a little kid when he's little, you tell him this every day, he'll believe it after a while. Because in our brain here, we talked about that too. Here's your na su. But you notice that word su, na su, that word su, seed. So however I talk to you, I'm planting seeds. If I sit here and call you down, now you're worthless. I'm planting a seed, putting seeds in people, you know. So that's a word for our brain, nasu. Yeah, nasu. Yeah. That's a good question. I've always wondered that as well. Huh? Yeah, that's a good question. Write that down. Find Uncle Kenny or somebody and ask them that. How do you see this word? How do you hear this word? Oh, he wouldn't know what you're saying, but you'd have to say nasu. Yeah, nasu. Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I knew that one. We'll find that out. I'll be wondering about that. I've wondered about it before. How do you break that down? What is that? Waush. Waush. Okay. So just understand this. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm only acknowledging Randall and I. Pretend you guys, nobody, all those of you in the audience, you guys aren't. I'm just talking. Waush. Okay. You and I are strong. Yeah. We are. Waush. Okay. Take care of yourself. You become strong. Waush. Okay. Waush. Okay. Because look at Melissa and acknowledge her and say Waushake. Waushake. Yeah. Waushake. Waushake. So once you say it like that, your memory would remember the scenario. What was I saying? I was saying we were strong. Waushake. If you're too scared to talk to humans, go to the pound somewhere. Get a dog. It's truth. Some of you. Yeah, well, that's true. Actually, I had a dream. One of them did. I had and hear that dog. There was a bunch of dogs. I had a dog in the field, and I was like, "Shoka yo yo, shoka yo." And then here he said, well, he didn't all in Dakota, but he said, "Don't worry, they're washichu." And I was like, "Oh, huh." I was like, "Those dogs," and I woke up and I was like, "Those dogs are washichu. What does that mean?" my dog talked to me in my dream and told me those dogs were washichu. So maybe you're talking to them in the daily, but you'll dream that they answer you back later on. Maybe that'll happen. That'll be chill. Tell me what they say. I want to know what the dogs say.
You
Waush.
know when you talk to them, when you talk to your dog
Okay.
in Dakota all the time,
Waushaka. Yeah.
if you ask them
Hmm.
something, they'll kind of like they whimper like they answer you back.
Yeah, they try.
They'll try.
Well, there's a study that shows that dogs learn up 100. Actually, Melissa and I were talking about that. One way that, because we're talking about in the future, like how do we maybe a language institute or something. But it would be nice to get a puppy, a small puppy, a real smart puppy, and teach that dog up to 50 to 60 words. And then you'd have to teach kind of like animal therapy. So when you come in, you got to, in order to get the dog to do what you want him to do, you got to learn those Dakota commands, whatever it might be. Yutaka, Inaji, Ianka, whatever, you know. So lots of plans in the future. Now we're not just going to stand here and do this. We got things we want to get going here. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Waush. Okay.
That's like the one time I went to Fisher River and I was busy saying go on to the dog. I was like, go on, go, go. And they're just looking at me. So my auntie comes up. Oh, what? Sausage just kicked off. I was just like,
Yeah.
what?
The dog knew Cree. That's a Cree dog. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you and I, we got that. You and I are strong. I'll do it in English. You and I are strong. You and I are strong. And then we'll switch it to English. Waush ake. Waush ake. Make sure you put a little pause in there, hey? Waush ake. Yeah. Waush ake. And it's not, try not to drag this out too long, hey? Ake. Yeah. Hey, yeah, it sounds really good there. How you said that? Yeah. This one we have to work on. Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Give me a microphone, she said. Just bring our people to tears. Just beautiful language. Yeah, bring us all to tears. Wanish akapi. Wanish akapi. You are all strong. I'll do it in English. You're all strong. You're all strong. All of you guys here. Yeah, you guys are all strong. Wanish akapi. Wanish akapi. Wanish akapi.
That would just be like somebody like you're talking to all of us.
You got it. You notice this? I'm not saying wanish akepi. It turned to right? Wanish. So it's I'm specifying one person in there all the time. That when you say that, even though I'm saying you are all, you're always gonna specify one person and everybody else. Yeah. It's like saying you and everyone else, when you add that P at the end. Wanish akapi. Wanish akapi. That's a beautiful word right there. Gotta remember how strong we really are. How many people believe that they're not strong? Once you put that in your head, I'm not strong, get rid of that one, bro. Sister, cousin, Tahashi, Dixie, relatives out there. And remember this. You'd always say this one. Wamash ake. I am strong. Don't forget. You can get through so much. I was talking. I was watching. What's his name? Mike Tyson. He said once you hit rock bottom, he said that's the place you want to get because once you're there, that's where your power comes from. You'll rise up to the top from there. Those people that hit rock bottom end up being the most powerful people. So look forward to that day when you're in rock bottom and then learn how to dig your way out of that, however you can. And so you can even say, Wamash ake, or Wamash akakte. I shall make myself strong, or like I shall be strong, I should say. I shall be strong. Wamash akakte. Wamash akakte. Wamash akakte. I shall be strong. You declare it. Words are powerful. Wash. Aka. Be. Now we're not talking about myself. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a group of people. That's not me. So I'm not saying ma. I'm not saying myself. I'm not saying ni. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying us. I'm talking about a general people. I'm going to sit here. There's three of you here. Here's a good example. There's three of you sitting here. And so I'm going to go over to Randall. They are strong. They're strong. And our tech guy in the back, there's four of you guys. They're strong. They're strong. Wash akapi. Wash akapi. Wash akapi. Wash. Yeah. Remember this pause here. Wash. Wash. Yeah. Cousin, look at me. They're strong. I'm giving you a full example of it. They're strong. Now in Dakota. Wash akapi. You see it? Yeah. They're strong. I'm doing English. All of them, these guys, they're strong. Wash akapi, Randall. Yeah. So we're two or three or four more people, right? Some of us, it's going to be like, holy man, I've tried to understand this one section. I've been stuck on it for the last 2 weeks. That's all right. Don't be hard on yourself. Like that one. You'll get it eventually, Some of us learn takes a long time, but actually the more Dakota you learn to, the more easier you learn. That's the funny thing I notice now. I used to go from learning 1 word a day to 5 words a day to all of a sudden 20 new words a day. 'Cause the more you learn, the quicker you learn. It's real interesting how that happens.
Could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you're teaching us these words here, could you say that maybe the way when a woman would say it, like there would be a Y-E on the end? Because like that's kind of easier for me to learn.
Yeah. To use your, yeah. And that's just a rule. Just put your yeah at the end. Just put your yeah there, wherever you want to put it there. That's up to you to put it there or not there. That's one of the things that they'd say people are oh, these people are so gender specific, your pronouns or whatever. Dakota were very like that, or to begin with, we had a specific way. If someone would say I don't want to talk male or female, and so well just don't put a do or don't put a yeah. That's simple as that. And don't put a do at the end. You can say wamashaka do. Wamash aka do. Wamash aka yeah. But it's not gonna go wamash ake, yeah. Wamash ake. Just put a do or a lo or a no. Put a do, lo, or no, or yalo, yalo, and down south. Wamash aka yalo, yalo. And we talked about that. There's Hunkpapa in Sioux Valley. Some of you that find out that your family was Lakota, that means you have every right to talk Lakota. Nobody's gonna. Who are we to stop you? If that's a part of,
What is our family?
but they walk on to. Yeah, a lot of the if you're connected to Wakan Ojajan, like different families, that'll be an interesting topic there because there's like 4 or 5 different ones in here Sisituan. From what I was told, that were predominantly Eli Taylor was recorded that saying that predominantly was Sisituan. And it was real crazy. When I lived in Siston, you know how many people said, you know how many, my uncle lived up there, then he moved back down here. It was like back and forth, Sisituan. There's lots of communities. But then there was other families go to Devil's Lake, Badewakantu, or Badewakan, the Holy Lake. So some families would say, yeah, we were always going to Devil's Lake all the time. Chances are, Badewakantu. Chances are. And so, but it'll be, you'll find it in the language. That's why I say don't change your language. Find out how your Kunshi speaks. Find out how your Ukan speaks, how they say that specific word, because it might be different for each family. And if you do that, you'll maintain your identity as a Wachpekute or Sisituan or Ihanktuan or whatever you might be. We can't lose our identity and just say we're all Dakota. That's wrong. We have to maintain our Badewakantu, or we should maintain those. And
Because my granddad was the one that taught me how to speak Dakota,
yeah,
and he had family around down from Sisseton area.
right, yeah,
So I don't know what kind.
right, yeah. And then keep in mind, in Sisseton, there's Wachpekute there, there's Sisituan there, there's Badewakantu there. So we're all over. So Sisseton's not just a one community either. It's not like that. But that's why I was saying, spiritually, though, or in a way, we should really find each other. And the only way you're going to do that is by going back into your family history and how your Unkankush used to talk. So now's the time to find that out now, specifically now. So I'm not going to go into the word weak because, I believe in affirmations. I'm not going to stand up here and say I'm weak 50 times. Because if that grandpas used to say, your words are powerful, don't say that. It might make it happen, right? They used to say that. So you watch your words. And so this is what, this is the word, wambadake. So for wash ake, sorry, I didn't realize. Wash ake shni. No, it's just, that's how you say weak. Wash ake shni. Just put the word shni at the end, that word turns to weak.
The only time I've heard that term used was shaka shni,
Yeah.
when that person was ill.
Yeah, when they're ill, because there's no yeah,
They
the,
have no strength.
right, yeah. You could use that for yazan, and then there might be even some families there they'll say kuja, because I remember hearing that one time to Lakota, and they say hanachni kuja. I was like, oh, shit, you're lazy. Yeah, I'm not lazy. Call me lazy. Say, no, that's sick down there. Kuja is sick. And I was like, oh, that's lazy for us at home, you know. Or we would say yazan, mayaza, I'm sick, mayaza. Yeah, so that's those words there. So just keep in mind, wanish akeshni. You and everyone else. You guys aren't strong. I would never say that. It's not a terrible thing to say to anybody. Hopefully, never ever say that. But sometimes, you know, when you don't feel that strong, like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today. Wamash akeshni. I'm not strong today. I don't feel good. You know.
Yeah, that's the term I
Yeah.
know. Say like if
Yeah.
you're not feeling well, it's like the mashak
Yeah. Right. Yeah. See, again, that's interesting because you can even go into that and find out from only but the Bedewa used to say that like that. For example, if you go in Dakota Plains, they say Kuja there, even though they're Dakota. So Makujaro, I'm sick. Yeah. And then there's a few differences there you'll hear in Dakota Plains, I've noticed. So I was always mindful of that, you know, like wherever I go, because if you go in different communities, you got to be respectful for so many of the little differences. Beautiful, beautiful differences. We're designed to be different. We were designed to be different. We're not all supposed to be the same. Uh, oh yeah. So let's keep on the strong words here, because I really believe that. You know, it's not up to our mom to make us strong, or dad, or kushi. That's up to ourselves, hey? And so that means. We're going to take responsibility for ourselves. So we're going to talk about that. Washag ichie. Washag ichie. That's going to be a hard one. Washag ichie. It's going to be a little bit different one, but we'll go through it slow. We have all spring long. So this one is actually a G. It's going to be one of the very few times you're going to see it like that. Wash ag. We'll practice saying it like that. That's actually a G on that one.
there's still gotta be that little pause.
Yeah, you'll feel it. You'll see it in here. But I really want us to all practice to say this. Wash ag. Wash ag.
Washag,
Yeah. Practice that one because that takes a while.
washag, washag,
Wash.
ag,
Yeah, let's put that little thing. Wash
ag,
ag.
wash, ag.
Exactly, cuz how you're doing that, if you have to do it real ugly, hard, wash, ag. Do it like that.
That's the only way to learn.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's like lifting 100 pounds so that when you lift 50 pounds, it's easy when you do it like that. So really, wash, ag. Do it like that if you have to get that emphasis because your mind might know, but your mouth doesn't yet. So that takes time, hey? Get your mouth moving. Wash, ug. Wash, ug. But we're going to talk about in this week to do it to yourself. An act of doing it to yourself. Each ear, each ear, meach ear, each ear, each ear. Wash ug meach ear. Wash ug each ear.
Is that a hyphen? I mean, a little
This thing here, when I do it,
little
how?
thick.
Oh, yeah, this is that break here. Yeah.
Okay.
So put that emphasis on this one right here. If I underline it, you know this word has to be said with some ferocity. Put some energy
Ag,
each ear.
ichia.
However you want to do that, this is how I make that exploding C sound. Make sure that echoes on the wall when you say that noise. Practice that one if you need to, because it's not in the vocabulary, English vocabulary at whatsoever. So your mouth is going to be like, I'm not used to that one.
Wash, ag, ichia.
Wash agi ear.
Wash, ag, ichia.
Yeah, try not to say it soft. It's got to explode.
Washag, ichia.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come to you. Watch. You should be able to feel it on your back.
Washag,
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. By the way, if you're learning the language, sometimes even putting your hand on your ear like powwow, you'll hear yourself better. Wash agi. Yeah. 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 Because the best person to learn from is yourself. We're the ones that convince ourselves. We teach ourselves how the world is, right? So your best teacher is how you talk. Hear it when yourself. You, so this is the C here. They call it explode. You got to explode that. Some I've heard exploding C. I've heard that. The C here, the exploding C. That's the best way you could say explodes out of your mouth there. Each ear. Go like this again, and so you have to just go. Yeah, just so you can feel it. Hey, that pressure that comes out. Yeah, got it. Got it. You got it. Man, I'm your best fan. When you guys get it, I'm like, yeah. I like celebrating for people when they get it. Meanwhile, because when I was learning, I only by myself. I'm like, yay, Jace, yeah. I teach myself, you know. That was my only encouragement. But yeah, just practice that, you know. This finger should be just spy by the time you're done, all wet. Yeah, practice that. That's a good. This is a good word to focus on with this sound here. The other one you're gonna hear. There's another one exploding T. You're gonna hear it. That's a different one. Yeah. Talk about that one a little bit later. I'm just gonna get a new page here because this is really important here. That one because we don't come across it a lot. You don't come across it a lot, but when you do, you're gonna be wondering about it, right? Each ear, and this each ear is the act of doing something to yourself. Each ear. So just put that when you say that each ear. Imagine somebody doing something to themselves or making themselves a certain way, and then wow, what is he doing? Wash ag. Okay, he's strong. He's making himself or making herself strong. They're making themselves. Let's start new here. It's real important word. When I learned this word, I realized how important it was. Wash ug. Wash ug. Again, disclaimer. I write these like this. This is my idea. However you want to do it. If you want to write it like this, with an exclamation point or something to tell you to make that real loud, I don't know. However you want to do it. Yeah. That might be another way right there. I never thought of it until now. You make this and then an exclamation point. What does that mean? It means you really got to say that pretty dang loud. And this could become its whole new word and a whole new word or a whole new letter for you, if that helps you. We'll break rules so that we can our main objective is to learn the language. There's no rules. The main rule is learn your language. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's good hearing you guys. It's good hearing you guys. I wish I can hear you guys at home. Okay, in this situation, this changes again. Like I tell you, these little codes or these little rules here, they change. And so in this situation, me is going to be the word for I, and then ni is you, and again for us. But sometimes it's unko. There's just different times. You'll catch on. You'll catch on. Wash ag. There's actually, if you really look at this, there's actually kind of two little pauses in there. Wash ug. There's two of them. Wash. There's a little pause here, and there's another one right here. Wash ug. Wash ug. Yeah. Now the me part, instead of ichie, me chie. Me chie. We talked about this in the last class. I'm making it rain upon myself. Wamakaju mi chie. Wamakaju mi chie. Make it rain upon myself. Tell that to an old grandpa in the way back. You think you're just powerful. You can make it rain on yourself. But now we call it. I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna go take a shower. Wamakaju mi chie. Mi chie. Wash ug 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 mi chie. So I strengthen myself. Wash ug mi chie. I make myself strong. Let's talk about this. Actually, there's a Sitting Bull song. Oh ya deki. Here's a nice song. Oh ya deki de chaje maya tapicha mli head meet iye. Head meet iye. I make myself smart. I make myself. When you guys get up in the morning and you're getting ready, that's hard to leave the house. So sometimes you got to be like, okay, I got to go to work. Here we go. Coffee. You're doctoring, you're smudging yourself down. Oh, and then you get ready to go outside, and then you can say, "Mini head meets here. I built myself up, or I built my life up, or something along those lines. I made myself strong, or I made myself smart, or something." And I was gonna let you guys know that every time before I come here, I make sure to go for a walk, 40-minute walk. I'll go to the house, clear my mind, and that's my time. Wash agmichie, making myself strong. Because come up here is scary. People judge. I'm gonna judge me. Who hates me? Who doesn't like me for doing this? Get scared of all kinds of stuff. And so don't think it's easy to do this. Sometimes your own family, people might hurt you, bring you down. But I'm gonna say, nope, nope, nope. Wash agmichie. I'm gonna make myself strong. I'm gonna make myself deadly. Deadly meets ekte. Oh, for fun. Let's do that in English down here. Don't ever do this in real life, but if you have a hard time, we could say deadly, like kind of like just for fun. Deadly meets e. I make myself deadly. I don't like to do that with the Dakota. Keep our language pure as possible. But just as a little note, anything you can do to remind yourself of how to use these words. Deadly meets e. That's awesome. But yeah, anything you can do. Hey, little things you can do to help yourself. Wash agnich ear. You make yourself strong. Randall here. I hope you don't mind me talking about you, Randall. Randall here is talking about how he's working on a healing journey, getting rid of angers, getting rid of frustrations, working on forgiving, not being so judgmental, working on this is all the talks that Randall and I have. It's things that we're all working on ourselves. Those are things that I would say, wash agni chie. You're making yourself strong by doing all those. You're making yourself strong. Only because you're throwing away stuff that holds you down. Holding on to stuff that holds you down. Make you weak. Right? Yeah. Making yourself deadly. Deadly Nietzsche. Deadly Nietzsche. But it's hard. It's a hard journey. Those of you that are on your journeys, healing journeys, and those of you that are not on your healing journeys, we love you anyways. Yeah, everybody's giggling in some way. The best that they know how. That's what I was talking about. Um, Hoping that we could say I love you to each other more and speak good to each other. Tell each other, wash agni chiapi. You all make yourself strong. You plus, remember the P, all the rugals? I'm talking to one, this ni here means I'm not talking in generality. Now I'm specifying to one person or one to you now. Wash agni chiapi. Now everybody. Yeah, yeah. Wash agni chiapi. There's wash, there's two pauses here. Wash ug. There's a pause here, and then nichiapi kind of goes all together now. Wash ag nichiapi.
That turns into A instead of a P, right?
Yeah, yeah. You'll never see this stay If B goes at the end, just remember a rule. If B goes on the end like that, this PB, B, if this goes on the end, this will always turn to ah.
So that is making yourselves strong.
You and everyone else. You and all. Just so you know, cuz, this took me a month to figure it out. Yeah. To really not, well, I understood it. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. But to fully feel it, where I got it in here, a month. Yeah. So now you know why. How come we keep doing these? Because once you get them, you'll hear them in the language. You know, if you hear somebody say later on "ma," you'll know he's talking about himself. Something. I don't know what he's saying, but he's talking about himself. Me. Oh, he said something about me. You're saying something about me. Me. I said so. Oh, you'll hear me say that in the language. Now he's talking about us in some fashion. You know. You know? So you'll start to hear those. So the main lesson behind this is to identify these umani yawas. That's really learn to identify those. Once you start getting them, then the words, then you can start learning the root words after that one. After you get that. Okay. I've never said this one before. So this is a new word for me too. Wash. Ag. Un. Ki. Chiapi. Okay. Wash ag unki chiapi. That's gonna take some work. Let's work on that. Yeah. Wash ag unki chiap.
There's a A missing in
Wash
there.
ag un. Oh, sorry. I think we need a break here soon. Getting tired. Let's let's break there because this one is gonna it's a little bit different. So we'll break there, and then we'll move on to this next one, nice and fresh. So get yourself some fresh donuts, some fresh coffee. Yeah, guys, you just get to have just chill. All of you that are here, hey, trying to get those of you who are all at home trying to come over here. I really want to see a whole bunch of us in here. But I realize, everybody's got their families, they're busy, I realize how that is. And a lot of us, we don't feel safe, in our own communities sometimes, which is something that we all got to turn around. And so hopefully, turn that around, have good energy where we're all here and we want to be here. And man, I don't even want to go home. I feel so good here. That's the energy we want. So with that, I picked it. Mike's on here too. Rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see, hear that? Huh, 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 huh. Talk about that one later. All right, I'm gonna finish it. I already wrote it down here. Um, uh, so, and just imagine two people talking to each other, and they're making to two of us here. Wash ag, wash ag unkichie. Unkichie. Let's practice that one too. You simplify it here. Unkichie. 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 Because that's a hard one. It's something that we don't really use in the language, and it's a lot of muscles that are unused most likely. Unki, a lot of times you'll hear that instead of just a Sometimes you'll get unki, like unki tawa. It belongs to us. Unki tawa. It belongs to us. Hani ni tawa, yours. Mi tawa, mine. Unki tawa, ours. You're nice, like that. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. Slow it down. We can even do it like this. Wa shag unki chie. Wa shag. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. Wash ag unki chie. 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 Unki. 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 Shag. 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 Wa. 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 Beautiful. Beautiful to hear it out loud.
Making myself strong or making ourselves
Remember, me or ma is for me.
me. Okay.
Yeah, this is unki.
Unki. So
Watch this. I'll teach you this one with tawa. It'll make sense. Uh, Demi tawa. This is mine. Deni tawa. This is yours. De unki tawa. This is ours. But if I wanted to add her to it, de unki tawa pi. But I'm not adding it. It's just you and me. De unki tawa. Make sense? Unki tawa. Unki tawa pi. Yeah. Or more. Or yeah, whoever. Yeah.
all the song.
Yeah. Unki. 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 I was telling Cuz here, I said it's good to slow us down because we think sometimes, when, especially when you're a language teacher, it makes so much sense to you. Just perfect. It's just, I get it. But to some, it's not so clear for me yet. So that's why those of you that come in here, you kind of give us an idea of where to slow down for the rest of the ones out there. So that I appreciate the ones that are here. And especially when you're sitting there looking really confused, you can just see you trying to struggle to understand. So that tells me, let's slow down on this. As soon as I see, okay, then we'll move on. Yeah. Wash ug unki chie. Chie. And again, right here, if you want to practice this little bit right here, because that's a hot word right there, hot spot word. Exploding C. And that's actually why we're taking so long on this, because we haven't even talked about that exploding C that much yet. So it's a big topic. I often wondered, why was that word so, because Dakota's so soft. Why is just a few words? Like I asked that question, like why do we have certain words that have that? And it's usually something really important. And so if something died, that's what we would say, it's like something dead. So obviously if something was like, that'd be a real important word, right? So usually words that have something, if you're going to say something, you're going to do something real important. There's an importance there. It makes the word more important somehow when there's emphasis on something. That's just my personal philosophy or my personal thought on that one. Why are Our language is so soft. How come those ones are so intense? But if anybody was said that they were going to do something to themselves, we'd all probably want to pay attention, right? What are you going to do to yourself? So here, now, cuz I'm not talking about you or you or you. I'm not talking specific. I'm just talking about all of you guys now, hey? I'm not saying me, I'm not saying you, and I'm not saying us in this situation. So that's or sorry, that'll be this last one. If that makes sense. That's how many we remove the ma, unki, wash agi chiapi. That's just a whole bunch of them right there on that one. But now we still have this unki here. Wash ag unki. So I'm still talking about two of us. I'm still wash ag unki. I'm still talking about two here. But now we're gonna have to add everyone else. Wash ag unki chiapi. So this turns to now, right? And there, wash ag unki chiapi. So you imagine that a sweat lodge full of people would say that. Wash ag unki chiapi. Wash ag unki chiapi. By the way, all of you guys out there that are language learners, teachers, however I teach like this, whatever you're learning, let's all help together. You know, somebody might say, oh, that's how Jace teaches. I'm going to try something different. No, this is not patented. I don't keep all this stuff. However I can help you be better teachers, that's awesome because I have a few cousins that help me. He said, don't be just standing up there tired. Wash ag unki chiapi. Put some emphasis in there. Put some life in there. Walk around, kick around. Be alive. And so that's why you'll notice I put a lot of energy in what I'm doing. That's why I had to end the language classes. I'm at home. Takes me out. Yeah. So imagine you're talking, let's say you're talking to Melissa, but you do it in English. We and everyone else made ourselves strong. Say that a few times to get your brain saying that's what you're saying. You and I and everyone else, we made ourselves strong. You and I and everyone else, we're making ourselves strong. Now in Dakota, wash ag unki. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. It's a beautiful language, guys. Make a beautiful community speaking a beautiful language. Wash ag unki chiapi. Wash ag unki chiapi. Appreciate the shout outs too from the elders. Sometimes they'll message Randall, you're doing good, or stay positive. Telling me stay positive. Some of the elders out there appreciate that. Don't get negative, they'll say, some of them. So here's that word again, cuz we're not talking about. You're basically, so you can imagine just you and I, and we're talking about everyone else in here. Now you're telling me they're making themselves strong, right? So say that in your head. This is what we're saying. Wash agi chiapi. Wash agi chiapi. You could put names here. Hey, John, Paul, George, Paul, and Ringo are all wash agi chiapi. They are all. Put the names in there of whoever. The three amigos, Hana, wash agi chiapi. They're making themselves strong. Or some people might say that in the community about us. Those guys over there, they're always over there learning their language. Washagi chiapi. Oh, they're making themselves, or washagi chiapi, yeah. Washagi chiapi, yeah. They're making themselves strong by learning their language, like that. It's a good way to say it. Yeah. So we'll go through it. Wash agich ie. Wash agnich ie. Wash agnich ie. Wash agnich iapi. Wash agunkich iapi. Deadly mich ie. And just remember, if you want to write it like this, that exploding C, you could do it like that. CH, like, what's that, apostrophe? What's it called? Exclamation point, yeah. To exclaim. And then, wash ag unkich ie. Wash ag unkich iapi. Wash ag ich iapi. Yeah, yeah. And it's like I said, I wanted to kind of, you notice we spent a little bit more time extra on that because, like I said, that's a very few times you're going to be using that real hard. But know when it's there. Know when it's there. Like, be prepared for it, right? Be prepared. Uh, so, by the way, once you guys are studying the ma, ni, unk, all the different ways of saying that, go on YouTube and watch the language speakers talk. You'll know, you'll hear them now. If he's talking about himself, if he's talking about me and my mom, or yeah, or you'll know how many he's talking about. Is he talking about a whole bunch of people? Is he talking about you? Is he talking about himself? This is where you'll start to understand some stuff there. And instead of focusing on that word, you'll be able to just pick out the root word and then look that up. What the root word? You'll be able to find the root word in there. Does that make sense?
I was watching that live.
Oh, your ADHD kicked in. I'm very mindful of that. Did you know they're saying like there's a percentage, they say Native American have the highest percent of ADHD, but that was because of our multitasking life that we had. Warrior, to be able to focus on your bro and the thing going on over here, and then something to be aware of 4 or 5 different things at one time, and to have that so focused in that you don't even notice this going on over here. Those were gifts, and they were gifts that help people live in the wild, in nature. Now we're in this room, just bare walls. It's hard to be a Dakota in this world. We're just not. It's not designed for us. Yeah, yeah. Just look at our tech guy there, just looking at 30 different things at some, and he's still bored. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Those of you out there, have compassion on yourself, on each other. So a lot of us have ADHD stuff going on. Don't be so mean and, hey, look at how he is. Let's have some love for one another. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna go through this. Wayaza. Uh, Wayaza. Okay. I'm not gonna go through it because Grandpa and them said, watch your words, right? Don't say things out loud. Don't because um you can make yourself sick with your own words. Zan. Okay. This word here, zan, 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 zan. Waya zan, zan, zan. If I put a little dot on here for me, it'll turn to Jean. But this time it's gonna be zan. So however you want to remind yourself, even if you want to, this Z, put the word zebra, just to remind yourself that Z is not voyageant, it's voyagant, voyagant, zan, zan, zan. And so Grandpa said, if you say things, it might make it happen. So don't say you're sick. Yeah. Or ka. Voyagant, voyagant, voyagant. No, it's all one. Smooth it all in together. Voyagant. Wayazake. Wayazake. Wa ya. Okay, break it down. Wa ya zanke. Wa ya zanke. To be sick. So if you see shuka kinhe wayazake, that dog is sick. Shuka kinhe wayazake. Or whatever. Hopefully that never happens to your dog. Or our dogs are special. Wayazake. And so we talked about this again. Different tribes, they'll say kuja or wamashakishni. I'm not strong, or they might say different ways. So, but this is sort of what's been said. Yeah, it's to be sick. Yazan is, I guess, would be the root word. And so again, same rules here. That the ma, ni, u, me, you, us. Me, you, us. Ma for me, ni for you, for us. So now we could put the first one. Wa, ma, ya, zang. Okay. If you wanted to talk about you were sick 2 years ago, at that time, wamayazaka. Back then, wamayazaka. I was sick back then, you know. Wana wamayazakeshni. I'm not sick now, though. You know. Wamayazake. Wamayazaka. But again, I'm not going to go through these long. Waniaza. Waniazake. You are sick. Wania zan ka bi. You and everyone else. Wania zan ka bi. Wania zan. Ya zan. Ya zan. Wania zan ka bi. Wania zan ka bi. Wania zan ka bi. Wania zan ka bi. Wania zan. Wania zan. 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 And then here's the Wah
If you're asking somebody if they are sick,
Nyaza. Are you sick? Or you can Waniazaka. Are you sick? Waniazaka. I wonder if you can just say that. Ever sick? Wyanzake. Just kidding. Wa'uyazanke. So now put this in their mind, you and I. Just everybody's all healthy. Just Randall and I here. Wa'uyazanke. 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 Wa. This is two nose shakers here. Right here and right here. Oo and ya. Yeah. Wa and ya. Wa ya zanke. Wa ya zanke. Wa ya zanke. You and I, us are sick. Us are sick. You could do it like this. When you do this, write the word, English word, us, right here, if that helps. And you, if you want, but I'd rather memorize those. Try not to get too dependent on English and putting English all right through. Try your best to memorize. Ma, ma. You can go like this. Ma, 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 ma. Ni, 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 ni. Oh, not supposed to wait. Ni, 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 ni. Unki, unki, unki. Yeah. Same rule here. I'm not gonna write the whole one. All the next one, wa un ya zan. But you're just this next word. You just have to add that ga, b at the end of that one. So you'd spell it the same. You just turn it to ke, to ka, and then add the b. So this turns to a b. Wa un ya zan ga b. So now I'm talking about. I'm specifying the two of us and the rest of the room, or everybody else in here. Wa un ya zan ga b. Wa un ya zan. Wa un ya zan ga b. Wa un ya zan ga b. This is a really good word, by the way, to practice your and zans and But anytime you get words where there's lots of these extra nasally words, practice those words if you can find them in the dictionary. If you're having a hard time with your nasals, and zon, wa ya, see the wa ya, zon, ga, bi. And then we're gonna specify. We're gonna take away this ma, ni, and u. Wa ya zon, ga, bi. So you can say at the hospital, a lot of them there. We're talking about them who are sick. Wa ya zon copy. So again, I'll be telling that imagine me, I'm telling Randall at the hospital over there, and those ones over there, and wa ya zon copy. And wa ya zon copy. Wa ya zon copy. Wa ya zon copy do. Keep in mind, you guys, when you say you're do out there, I know you're proud to be Dakota, but you don't have to say it real hard. You don't have to say waza copy do. You just soften it up a little. Yeah, it's not explode. Exactly, you don't have to explode it. So waza copy do. It doesn't have to be too. The do doesn't have to be too hard. Wayazan copy. Okay, enough of that sickness. Get out of here, sickness. Leave us alone. So sometimes, just another way you could say that, tizi ma'aza, my stomach is sick. We'll talk about that later. Wayazan. Wayazan. Where are we at? What time is it now? How's everybody feeling? 10 minutes? 10 more minutes? Let me see. Uh, yeah. Okay, we'll do a food one because we did. I came here to eat, but I went to eat, and we already went to. I went to wa'i ya'i, and so just kind of keep that in mind. This is one of the first sentences I guess we could do. They went to eat. Wod e. Wod e. So and all you'd have to do is just put a name of somebody here. He or she, because right now it just says this is just like a generic. He went to eat. He went to. Hey, would e. You know, it's just you don't even say he or she, but you can put a name of somebody here. They went to eat. Would e. Would ya e. You went to eat. I don't know how many people don't know that they went to eat, so you probably won't say that too much. I guess you can say, well, how come you didn't invite me to eat? Naka wodia e. You already went to eat like earlier. Wodia e. You went to eat already. Or I guess you could say, wana wodia e. You already went to eat. No, I guess you could say. Trying to think of a scenario where you'd say that. Wodia e. You went to eat. Wod ya e. Ya e. Wod. Wod. Oh, wod. Simple enough. Wa e. Whoops. Forget that one. Wa e. Wod wa e. I went to eat. Wod wa e. Sorry about that writing, guys. Just put this like this. I just too far apart and I messed this up. Don't mind that. Excuse that. Wod wa e. Wod ya e. E like went. Now more than one. So I'm talking about one person plus the three or four. Wod ya ipi. Wod ya ipi. Wod ya ipi. You all went to eat. All of you guys, you and everyone else, you guys all went. You guys is Wod ya ipi. Wod ya ipi do. Put some real good accent in there. Wod ya i. Remember that unki? Here it is again. Yeah, wod unki. That's just for two of us so far. Once we add that B, now we're going to add a little bit more of us. Yeah, you got it. But you just got to remember there's more than two there. Yeah. Yeah. Wod unkipi. That's the other one. Wod unkipi. Unki pi. Wod unkipi. So now there's two. So you're telling that to Melissa. You're telling her, and now you're including Randall and myself, everybody else here. We're all gonna go now with you. Wod unkipi. That's my favorite thing to hear. Wod unkipi. Yeah, that's another one we shall. Yeah. Wod un ki pi un ki un ki. Get that nasal in there. Ki un ki. Wod un ki pi. Wod un ki pi. Wod un ki pi. Wod un ki pi. Keep in mind, guys, those of you guys who are tuning in, we did say we were going to try and keep our classes going tomorrow because we're going to try and keep them going. But there's some issues coming up, some things coming up. So I'm gonna take a break tomorrow. But I had an idea. I said the word. I was talking to Melissa, homework, but she's like, homework doesn't sound very good. I don't like that word either. But one of the things that I was saying too is you all have your phones. One thing that you can do is start taking pictures of all the things that you want to start identifying. And then you can make a slide. All you have to do is sit there with an elder and they can identify everything. Take a picture of a dog, take a picture of a tree, take a picture of everything. You can make your own cue cards. Add your own words to those. So just things you could do at your house. I don't know, how do you say that, But keep in mind, I'm for the belief, or I have an idea where for me, I don't like to create new words. Like, what's the word for microwave? Let's call it microwave. We don't have a name for, you could say, daku yukata. I don't know. You could call it something if you want, but just call it a microwave. I like to keep our words natural to the real chanku, like the things that we've always had. And so that's my personal opinion, but you guys don't have to do it that way. If you want to make words for microwave and iPhone and whatever, that's up to you. I imagine there'll be a lot of elders that know how to do that. But for me, I want to teach the natural, I guess you say. So now we're the last one. Wod ipi. Wod ipi. They went to eat. So you're just you're telling one person, imagine this situation. You're telling one person that Randall and Elton went, or Randall, Elton, and Melissa, and like everybody else went. Like that's how that works. So wod ipi. They went to eat. You hear that word, dogia. Where'd they go? Or where are they? Na wod ipi. They went to eat. Dogiapi. Where'd they go? Oh, that's a good one there. And I just want to share this again. This is just a little bit of my understanding. Actually, I have some extra paper over here. There was a study that showed that our children, our people, that our intelligence level is lower. That's what they're saying, but I don't believe this is true. And like earlier, I drew a nasu. So here's an eyeball or like a brain. Up here in the front of your brain, that's where you get all your ideas, frontal cortex right up here. And then down in here, your medulla oblongata. You learn that off the movie Waterboy. That's where your fear lives. Now, if I was to keep you in fear, so in other words, if you see people that are always fighting, are always trying to argue and fight, or they're running from their problems, that's where, sadly, there are, maybe workaholic, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, traveling all the time, focusing on it. You're running from your own problems. That's another symptom of fear or fighting. And then the other one is freeze, where you just kind of lock yourself in your basement and you don't want to go anywhere. You don't just stay away from the whole everybody. You don't really move forward. So if you have symptoms of these where you're stuck, you're always fighting, and you're running away from your problem, chances are you're experiencing fear. And so if that means you're experiencing fear, then your ability to be creative and think of new ideas and to problem solve, that gets shut down. So this is why in this classroom here, what this amounts to, fear, we don't allow it in here. We don't allow any, so no judgment. I can't say, dear Josh, you don't even know your language yet, Josh. Or like, I can't, that's shame, that's judging. So there's all kinds of stuff that makes us feel fear. And so in our communities, like I'm saying, if you have takojas that are just, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to go anywhere, I don't want to try any new things, I have new goals, but I don't want to try them. There's a language class, but I don't want to do anything about it. Just frozen, stuck in time. That's a lot of fear that child is carrying, our people. Or if you see a lot of fighting, you see, geez, I'm going to fight that guy. I can't believe they're arguing with people all the time, fighting. Or again, running away from problems. Just Just gonna eat and forget about it. Let's just have a chow meal, forget about it. Here, all right. There's all kinds of way to do it. Oh, let's just go to powwow, just forget about it. Let's just forget about all that. Let's run away from all this stuff, or let's move to another community. And turn running. So we want to avoid anything that causes fear because that's gonna slow our learning down dramatically. And so don't be around any language teachers, and I'm sorry to say this, but any language teachers that make you feel fear. And so this is why I think that in order for us to learn the language, we have to come from a place of love, which is the opposite of fear, in my opinion. So speak good, speak kind to one another, encourage one another. Let's eliminate fear from our Dakota community here, Sioux Valley. The fear of being judged or maybe even abandoned. Geez, if I don't know, learn my language, so and so said they don't want to be around me anymore, or whatever it might be. It's just let's not use any of that. And so just good energy, good vibes, and it'll learn better. And I was talking to Elton. I said it would be nice, even on there, if he can play flute music or something in the background, just to keep our energy at calm. Just to keep us calm, keep us relaxed, because that'll absorb. The reason why I said this is because they did a study in New York where they took random people, and one group they studied just normal, just like how we're doing it. Okay, say this word, how we're doing it, and the other one they played classical music, where it was real calm, real relaxed. The ones that played calm, relaxing music retained much more than the other ones did. So, in order to learn your language and speak the language, love must be there. You got to bring love back into your life. In other words, patience. Be patient. Don't rush around. Don't be frustrated with yourself. All these good things. Treat yourself good, and that'll help us because we don't want you to be stuck in the fight or flight or fear. We want you up here where you can have creative thinking, good ideas. Oh, I have an idea of the language. That's where that comes from. So keep that in mind. And plus, on top of that, the fear that we have turns to diabetes, turns to other sicknesses later on. So love one another, take one another seriously. Don't ignore each other, all that good stuff. I just wanted to say that because, we can learn the language and everything, but we got to have a good heart with it. People would say, Jace knows his language, but Josh, he's just unhappy, grouchy all the time. I don't want to go learn that language. So that's why I was saying that. So I want to have a good heart when I come here too. Chante washte. Good heart. Uh-huh. Yeah. Dayo po, mitake. Be well tonight. Have a good sleep. We'll see you guys uh, next week. And we're at high school on Thursdays now. Go to the high school. By the way, people are saying, I've heard this. Our kids are not interested in their culture. That's a big lie. It's a big lie. I share this stuff with them. You can hear a pin drop in that room each time. Pin drop. It's not true. Our kids are more interested in this than ever. But you have to come from a place of love. Then they're interested. Yeah, then our people are interested, right? And so when we share this information, these teachings, all these things, it's to help you. It's to help you become helpful to your kunshi, or you can help your nkang with this, like that. Good energy, good vibes. That's the only way we're all gonna get. Otherwise, we're all gonna get real tired. Oh man, language again. Hopefully, we come here and get uplifted, right? Oh, I'm gonna learn something new, try something out with my family. Something awesome, heal something with myself, or whatever it might be. Yeah. So let's keep that in mind. Good vibes. Yeah. Just on this rare circumstance, this circumstance can come up. But that's why I said go home if you can. Keep the going. Maybe tomorrow, if you guys can, start taking pictures of stuff. Because when Bernice comes here, she can help us interpret. Or if you're going to school tomorrow, Bridget, yeah, Bridget, when you go to the school, to the daycare, maybe start taking pictures of stuff that you want to learn how to identify, or little notes like that. And so maybe that's one thing we could do. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But this class is not limited to here. You can go online. There's thousands of classes all over the place, different speakers all over. Just because there's no class today, it doesn't mean we stop, right? Like we can go to listen to, like for me personally, I really like listen to Ozzy. So I'll go online, listen to Ozzy, go listen to pauses, things, certain words I don't know. What does that word mean? I'll go search it up. say that word 1,000 times over and over and over. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I know that word. Now I'll go to the next word. Well, if you can learn one word a day, 365 words you know by the end of the year, right? Yeah, just keep that in mind. And you don't doesn't mean you have to be sitting there with a dictionary all day. Pick one. Let's look at this one right here. Uh, Shtoka. Shtoka. Okay, here's my new word, shtoka. So now I'm gonna walk around shtoka. Now I'm not gonna tell myself what it means. I'm just gonna learn how to say this word, shtoka, 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 shtoka. Practice, practice, practice. Found out. What does it mean? A kind of spotted duck. It's a spotted duck. Cool. Okay, that was my new word of the day. I didn't know that before. Now I know that now. So it's just one little thing you could do. Don't let the fact that we're not in class this day stop you from learning that day, or say, geez, we're not getting ahead because you're not having classes. No, no, no. You go home and you keep it going. Or go back and review. Maybe we could do that as a time like that. Go back and review the different things that you can learn. So don't let us stop you. Keep going. I know for me personally, I'm still learning as much as I can. I'm really excited to work with the language teachers. I'm really excited about that for myself because, like I said, I'm still learning. So I'm still learning. So that's why I'm here too. I'm a language learner, teacher. Yeah, but well, one day I'll be just teacher when I can know every word that existed. But it's possible. It's possible. Okay. Naka, I said, I picked it. That's enough. I'm not going to talk anymore, but I'll say it again. Let's have a good evening. We'll see you guys soon.